Talk Chemistry with Pastor Dan. We're looking at Solubility Lab. We need to do labs to understand the concept. So let's look at the lab. You can either get this on from me or you can copy it down. Oh, that's the wrong one. That's the up here's what I need. Let's get ahead of myself, okay? So what we're going to do is going to take potassium nitrate. Potassium nitrate is my solute. It's also polar. It will dissolve. We're going to take, in the lab it does 4, but I find the first one doesn't work very well, so we're not going to do that. And we're going to take 4 grams, 6 grams, and 8 grams, so we're going to do 3 of those, dissolve them into 5 milliliters of water, and then we're going to get them dissolved completely. I'll show you the video in a second. And then we're going to get the temperature at which they recrystallize. So we can try to get that solubility graph that we have there. All right, so copy that down. There are 5 questions there. So try to take the pre-quiz to see if you understand what's going on in the lab here. And you can refer back to the lab to answer the questions. All right, let's go through them. What is the ionic salt that is dissolved? That's your potassium nitrate. What solvent? We're using water. Is the temperature change measured in glassware? That's your test tube. What piece of instrument is used to determine the mass? That's going to be, I believe, the electronic balance is what it says here. Measure out, or balance of some type. And then the last one, what is suggested to increase this dissolving process? Let's start with the thermometer. All right, so here is your lab. We're again not going to do the first one because it doesn't recrystallize as easily. 4, 6, and 8. And then how do we do this? Well, all we're going to do is what number do you multiply 5 by to get 100? Multiply 5 by 20. So the same thing here. So that's going to be 2 times 20, or it's going to be 40.0, but we're not doing that one. Do the same for 4, 6, and 8. And then we're going to do a graph. Remember, temperature is what we're, the solubility is what we're controlling, the temperature. So solubility, the masses will be across your x-axis, temperature across your y-axis, and we're going to get hopefully a nice chart like this, line of best fit. Remember to put the dots and put a geometric shape around those. Remember the title. Title is always dependent versus independent. Then I'm going to ask you to use that graph to answer these questions and define these terms. And then use a graph to answer these as well. And then discuss what we mentioned before. Conclusion. There we go. All right, now I want to show you the process up here, and I think it's a little bit off center, but there's my potassium nitrate inside, and this is, we're heating it up using and we're dissolving it through there. And then there's what it looks like afterwards. You see the crystallization of 4 and 6, and that's 8. As we heat, it's beginning to dissolve. All right, good. Now I'm going to also lastly show you the data table. So let's bring that up a little bit. So if you don't have an opportunity to do this, you can just get these 3 sets of data from the lab and then answer the questions we have there. All right, so that's the lab. Hopefully that wasn't too bad. Take care. God bless. Bye.